car, fresh out of the junkyard. 60 80E. I'll tell you more when I get it out. Alright, so here it is up in the air. This is a 3500 2005 Chevy Express van, 6 liter, and 2-wheel drive, 4L80. And this has the 317 aluminum heads. The vans come with no EGR, so the manifolds have no EGR port in them. The intake has no EGR port in them. Right there, it's all deleted. And yeah, came with pretty much everything. The computer, most of the wiring harness, pretty much everything I'll need, I imagine. Yep, it's pretty much everything. Starter, all the accessories. I got a power steering pump, even though I'm not going to use that. Alternator, water pump. Took the AC compressor off, it's just dead weight. But there you go. Sorry about the light. It needs an oil pan. That's about the only thing. It's all gone. I took the pickup tube off. I have the motor mounts. I'm gonna make like little feet so this thing can sit on the floor, and then it'll just rest on the training pan or something like that. There you go. I even got like the little 3-volt flanges that are solid welded right there. The plan is for this motor is to feed it some boost, put it in a Fox body chassis car, which could either be a Mustang or a Ford Fairmont, Ford Futura, Mercury Zephyr. Those are all late 70s and 80s unibody cars. But great tranny, great motor. Motor has 259,000 on it. When I put it in the car, it'll be all taken apart and do all the common stuff for boost, open the rings up, make sure everything's all good. But I want to set this on the ground, or at least pull the windows tray off actually while it's in the air, and see what kind of rods it is in there. Some people say this is or most people say it's a Gen 3. I think it's a Gen 3, but somebody said that it might be a Gen 4. Probably not, being an 05 and being a van motor, and having the crank sensor in the back and not on the timing cover. I'm willing to bet a lot that this is a Gen 3, so we're gonna find out. So I pulled off the windows tray. It's got a little bit of dirt and shit on it because it was never had an oil pan on it when I saw it in the yard. But all the rods are tight, at least to what it looks like for me. I think I'm going to take a cap or two off one of the rods, and then I might pull one main cap. See, I'll probably pull the front one, but everything looks alright so far, which is good. Really nice and shitty on the outside, you can tell. This is just a really nice boat anchor. 6L, yeah, you can tell she has some miles on her. She's been well broken in. So I've done a couple rod caps now, and this motor doesn't look too bad. Obviously from miles, it's going to be a little worn. It's going to go through like the first top coating or whatever. It's going to show some wear there in the bearing, but obviously I'm going to throw some new bearings in it. But the crank looks, you know, pretty much new, you know. Really not much there. Like if I wanted to, I'd probably get that polished out, but definitely nothing that needs to be grinded down or catches the fingernails. Everything else looks pretty good. Let's throw the rod cap back on and see what else we can find. So honestly, for how many miles are on this thing, looks pretty clean. You see up in the cylinder wall, and it's pretty smooth up there. Really isn't that bad. Obviously I don't know what the condition of all of them are, but I was talking about the rods, and if you look That's a Gen 4 rod right there. See the end of the cap there? It's a Gen 4 rod, which is really interesting because that's a 24X reluctor wheel, and everything else says it's a Gen 3 motor, but the rotating assembly, or at least the rods and pistons, not the crank, are Gen 4. And if anybody doesn't know what that means, it just means that these rods, Gen 3 versus Gen 4, Gen 3 stops about 650. I mean, you can probably push it, but 650 you're tapped. And Gen 4 is known to go way over 800 wheel, stock rotating, stock bottom end. And the bottom end is really what makes these a badass motor. You can see up in the cam there a little bit. From what I can see, I don't see anything wiped out either, so this is a good looking motor for sure. I'm happy with it. One last thing I want to do is pull the valve cover and just see if this motor is sludgy at all. GM makes it pretty easy. Pull the valve cover off. Yeah, I like some well-maintained fleet vehicles. That's for sure. There is nothing in this motor. It's awesome. Well, there you go. Okay, just to close up the video here, you see I took it off the cherry picker, and there's some janky lighting here. I welded some feet on it, there and there, and then one in the back. But I still got all the stuff on it, the cable at least, because I might move it again. But there you go. It's just sitting on the ground. You need an oil pan for it, but other than that, I'll cover up the bottom end, and part one of a very long series, that's for sure.